So, what happens when an unstoppable prosecutor decides to go after an immovable hedge fund king? Today, we're going to unpack the insane, high stakes world of the hit TV show Billions. It's a story where the line between law and crime, and frankly, between right and wrong, gets redrawn over and over again, right in the heart of New York City.
All right, so here's our game plan for breaking this all down. First up, we'll meet the two titans at the center of this financial war. Then, we'll dive into how their battle kicks off and how it evolves. After that, we'll see how some new players completely change the game. And finally, we'll get to the big question: what is the true cost of all this power? You know, when you boil it all down, Billions is really about one epic conflict, a battle between two of the most powerful and ambitious men in New York. It's that classic setup, right? The unstoppable force meeting the immovable object. Okay, let's meet our two main players. In one corner, you've got Chuck Rhoades. He's the sharp, politically savvy U.S. attorney who represents the law. His whole mission? To stop white-collar crime. And in the other corner, there's Bobby Axelrod, the hedge fund king who basically is money. His mission is a lot simpler: win and maximize profit and power, no matter the cost. The entire show is really built on Chuck's obsessive crusade to take Axe down for insider trading. But here's the thing, this isn't just Hollywood fiction. The show is actually heavily inspired by the very real battles between federal prosecutors, guys like the former U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara, and the actual titans of Wall Street. So how does a war like this even begin? Well, it's not some back alley brawl. No, this is a game of psychological chess where every single opening move is absolutely critical. The first couple of seasons are just this incredible cat and mouse game. Chuck goes on the hunt, he's targeting Axe capital. But Axe, he's always the predator, right? He anticipates every move, using these unbelievably complex strategies to stay just one step ahead. And it escalates fast. It stops being about legal moves and turns into a deeply personal psychological war. But, you know, a simple one-on-one rivalry can only burn that hot for so long. The battlefield was bound to change. New players were going to show up, and loyalties were going to start shifting all over the place. And you can really see how the main conflict evolves so dramatically over the show. It starts as this direct head-to-head fight, Chuck versus Axe. But by the middle seasons, the world gets bigger, bringing in new people and creating these really fragile, shifting alliances. And then, in the final seasons, the whole dynamic shifts completely when a new antagonist arrives, setting the stage for the endgame. So what is it that disrupts the game? Well, the biggest changes come from these brilliant new minds who don't just want to play the game, they want to change the rules entirely. And this is the central question the show is always forcing us to think about. When you have this perfectly balanced war between two titans, what happens when you suddenly add a third, completely unpredictable force into the mix? Well, the answer is Taylor Mason, and their introduction is a huge moment for the series. Taylor is this incredibly brilliant, non-binary analyst, and their purely quantitative, objective approach to the market just completely short-circuits the emotional, gut-driven strategies of Axe and guys like him. It forces everyone to adapt, and it tests loyalties in ways you would never see coming. Just when you think you're getting used to the new dynamics, the show makes a seismic shift. The original antagonist, Bobby Axelrod, is temporarily written off. It's an unbelievably bold move that just completely redefines the entire game. And who steps in to fill that massive void? Mike Prince. And he's not just another billionaire. He's a rival who takes over Axe's whole empire and becomes the new main opponent for Chuck. This completely evolves Chuck's mission. It's not just about law enforcement anymore. It becomes a much broader battle over moral influence and maybe even the soul of capitalism itself. So let's zoom out. Beyond all the plot twists and the power plays, what are the deeper ideas here? Let's explore the core themes that make Billions so darn compelling. First and foremost, the show is about money. It's a deep dive into that world, not just what it's like to have it, but the relentless, all-consuming pursuit of wealth and what that obsession does to the people who have it. But money is just a tool, right? The real currency in this world is power. It's that constant struggle for leverage, for control, and for the ability to shape reality itself, whether you're in a courtroom or a boardroom. And that brings us to the biggest theme of all, morality, or, maybe the lack of it. This show is a masterclass in moral ambiguity. It's constantly forcing you to question that blurred and a lot of times non-existent line between right and wrong when victory is the only thing that matters. Yeah, the show is always exploring how even law enforcers and corporate leaders compromise their own ethics. And that's really the central idea. When the stakes are this high, nobody's hands are clean. From the supposed hero of justice to the corporate raider, everybody is forced to break their own rules to win. And that's the fundamental question the show leaves you with. After all the betrayals, all the fortunes won and lost, and all the lives that are just ruined, you're left wondering, in this game of billions, with such a high price to play, can anyone ever truly be called a winner?